Alrighty, so guys, welcome to our 30-minute Spotlight webinar series, kindly sponsored by Proboxx. Now, our 30-minute Spotlight webinar series is really just a short webinar to showcase service providers to help you, the Amazon seller or the e-commerce seller, really take your business to the next level. So I'm really excited today to have with us our first guest, which is Adam of ZonGuru. He is the head of customer success. Now, ZonGuru, I don't know if any of you are familiar with ZonGuru, but I'm personally a fan and use it all the time, is a toolkit designed for sellers by sellers. So welcome, Adam.
Thanks, Amanda. Awesome to be here. I love what Proboxx does. Obviously, as you said, I do a lot of the customer success side of things with ZonGuru. So it's literally my job to, help people through their Amazon business when they're using ZonGuru. So, we have tools everywhere from the start when you're looking for that first product right through to validating that potential profit with your new product, helping to launch, listing optimization, maintaining the business, and then scaling as well. So lots of tools in there, but my job is to be here when you guys hit those Amazon barriers that always pop up.
Yeah, I think you and I have had a few chats in the past where it's been like, help me, Adam, which always tends to happen. And you guys are extremely helpful. So really grateful for that. I know, obviously a lot of people, or maybe some people watching are not familiar with ZonGuru. So if you would like to give us a bit more of a snapshot around that. And then also, I know we've got some amazing new features that you want to share with us today that are really going to take things to the next level with listing optimization. So let's dive in a little bit more.
Sure thing. Well, I'll bring my screen up then so we can check this one out.
Yeah, let me just see if I can share screen for you. There you go. Yeah. You should be able to jump in now.
Sure thing. I'll pull that one up. All righty. I've just got to change my preferences, so give me 2 moments.
No worries.
Okay, it's asking me to restart Zoom now so that I can share screen. Of course
the joys. So do you want to jump out, or we can
just going to see whether it's going to pull it up. Okay, can you see my screen there?
Yeah, can see your screen. It's really clear.
Awesome.
So I think the title of our webinar was actually how to create page 1 worthy listings in less than 1 minute. Is that actually true? Can we literally do that in less than 1 minute?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's obviously AI and ChatGPT has been all the rage, in the last 6 months or so. It's taken Amazon by storm. It's taken the industry. It's taken basically the world. So we've harnessed the power of AI. And I think a lot of people have been worried about it, thinking, oh, is there anything left for us to do? Are we going to lose our jobs? These sorts of things. But in terms of creating that listing in less than 1 minute, that's what the AI can do for us. So what we've done with the AI is we've integrated it into our software in a way that instead of being a content creator, so creating a listing from scratch, the AI can now do 90%, 95% of that legwork for you. And then you just tweak. So you make sure it's as good as it possibly can be. So we'll check out the AI side of things in just a moment there. But of course, with listing optimization and what we're focusing on today, there's essentially 2 phases with how we do this. So the first one is keywords on fire. So if you're ready, I can jump straight into that one and we'll show you how we can do that. Yeah,
that'd be awesome. So yeah, ZonGuru for me, I just remember when I was creating my listings, all the tools that were already there, like your keywords on fire, and then the listing optimization was amazing, but it was still quite a bit of a manual process. So hopefully we'll get to see today how much the AI is kind of speeding that process up for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, there's a lot of manual things. And I think that's where the AI comes in very handy, right? So for example, with the 2 phases, if we look at keyword research as the first phase, and then using those keywords in your listing, it's that second phase that AI has really made huge gains for us as Amazon sellers. I sell in the US myself. I spend a lot of time, optimizing listings and these sorts of things. And it's just taken a lot of that initial creation off my plate. So to start off with, we'll jump into keywords on fire. For those who aren't familiar with ZonGuru, keywords on fire is, if you really drill it down to its core, it's a super powerful reverse ASIN lookup. Now, the way it works is you can either put the ASINs in that you want to find the keywords for, or you can search by phrase. I tend to search by phrase because what that does is bring up the top 25 listings on Amazon for that keyword. So then you know that the keyword list that's then created is super relevant to your particular product. And it's also going to be impactful as well. Yeah. And the idea with Keywords on Fire is I'll jump into this yoga mat session here. It gives you 300 or around the 300 mark unique keywords. So you can see I seeded this session with the keyword yoga mat. We've brought in the top 25 organic competitors, which you can see down this side here. We then have 300 keywords. And of course, we all know the yoga mat category is huge. So 14 million revenue, 1 million search volume, massive.
Yeah. Huge.
What we're trying to do here is look for those keywords that we can actually compete on, because I think a lot of people get bogged down in search volume with keywords. Of course, that's important. You need eyeballs on your product. But it's also powerful. It's also important that you can actually compete, because particularly with something like yoga mat, if those listings have been there for 10 years, it's really hard to go up against those listings. Amazon wants to make as much money as possible, as we all do. So if we're making Amazon money, that's how they're going to show our products first. So when you've got this huge list, our goal is to essentially narrow that list down from 300 to however many you want to target. I usually go around 100 to 150 if that's what I'm creating a listing with, but you can make as many lists as you want. So short tail keywords, long tail keywords, PPC specific, just for your title, bullet points, these sorts of things. And the way you do that is by looking at all this data. So I won't go through it all. Everyone has their own different strategies, but essentially what I like to focus on is search volume and then the top 25 competitors. So the top 25 competitors, just to explain this one, is how many of the top 25 for yoga mat also rank for yoga mats with an S. Only 13 rank there. So that means rather than using yoga mat, which is obviously a super popular keyword, I could use yoga mats, good search volume, and only 13 of those top 25 competitors. So I've essentially halved my competition just by focusing, putting an S on the end of that keyword.
Yeah.
If we go even further, if we look at something like Pilates mat, essentially the same thing, right? Different use, but the same kind of mat, still relevant. And the impact could be even stronger because you've got 13,000, but you're only sharing that search volume between 9 of the top competitors instead of up here's 13 and yoga mat's 25. So it's a really great way, this tool, to highlight potential opportunities. And you can go one step further with the exact rankings of those top 25 competitors. So you can see this is the number 1 competitor and their rank 6, just go back a bit, 6 for yoga mats, 7 for yoga mat non-slip, 8 for non-slip yoga mat, and all the way down. You can see the second top competitor, they don't actually rank at all for yoga mats for home workout. They also don't rank for yoga mats for men. So those sort of keywords I might want to really focus on in my listing or my PPC, because I'm not competing against that second person at all. They're too lazy. They haven't got it in their listing, or they're just not converting on those keywords.
Yeah.
So we can really find those powerful keywords that we want. But what we want to do is remove the ones that we don't like. So we can use filters up here. So for example, we're at 300. Maybe I'm looking for long tail keywords. So if I go super long tail, five in the word, it brings it right down to 65. So you can see straight away, we've narrowed it down to what we're looking for. We're not looking at those massive search volume ones, although you will still get some in here. And you can see, look at these competitor numbers now. They're much, much lower.
Yeah.
Still with fairly solid search volume. So if you use, 2,000 plus 2,000, 1,500, you're looking at 20,000 search volume just here, but you're only competing against a quarter of those top competitors.
Yeah.
So that's a super quick way to find it. The ones that you want to steer away from, branded keywords, things like that. If someone's typing in a branded keyword, they're looking for that brand. If you do want to get rid of those keywords, let's just use these ones as an example. You can hide that row. Now we're down to 62. So I'm okay, this is my final list. Again, you'll put a bit more effort in here. You'll know your product much better than I will. And then you just hit save, give the list a name, and then we can move on to that next stage of listing optimization. So before we jump into the actual optimizer, does that make sense there?
Yeah, it does. And it's just interesting, also how some people say, I don't really look at anything with, a search volume of 10,000 or less, but I like what you were saying there is that you could select, you're half a dozen of them, and then that search volume actually does add up over the total. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think because that sentiment is out there in the Amazon industry where they're like, oh, I don't look at it if it's less than 5,000 or 10,000, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
If you get 5 keywords that are all doing 5,000, your competitors aren't looking at them. That's 25,000 search volume that you've got essentially for free. So you're right. It can be super, super powerful. And, you know, with a tool like Keywords on Fire, it makes it a lot easier to find those keywords rather than spending hours and hours digging through spreadsheets and CSV files and things.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. So we've got our list here. And then the next stage, phase 2, is listing optimizer. So we'll jump over here now. I've created this session here. So you just give the session a name. Make sure you click the marketplace as well. This is important because if you're selling in, let's say, Germany, the AI listing will generate in the local dialect. So it will generate it in German. So if you select German, but you want it in English, you'll get it very, very wrong. It won't make any sense to you. So we'll jump into this session here. Nothing loads in straight away. So the idea here is we want to bring in our listing. We want to bring in competitor listings. And the reason we want to do that is because we talk about contextual SEO at ZonGuru, because you could say, yes, I'm super optimized, but it doesn't really mean much unless you're actually comparing directly with those competitors who you're fighting for sales with. So when we click over to here to add our listings, if you've connected your Seller Central account, you'll be able to select your exact listing. So this is just a demo account, but I'll select this blue Amazon Basics yoga mat. We'll pretend that's our product for today. You can also add directly by ASIN. What I'm going to do is pop in a draft listing as well. So this is my listing. This is the one I'm going to work on so that I'm not changing the listing I currently have. Then I can compare the two scores. Right. And then I'm going to bring in those 3 or 4 top competitors. So to do so, again, you can add directly by ASIN. I'm going to search, again, the top 25 organic rankings. These are those top 25. So I'm going to pretend my price point's about $20. So I'm going to select relevant products to my price point, to the listing. You know, they're selling a very, very similar thing. But you also want to make sure that they have lots and lots of sales, because obviously if they have lots of sales, they should be better optimized. And then you know what the highest bar is. You don't want to be optimizing for page 2 or 3. You want to be optimizing against the top of the top. Yeah. So let's bring these ones in and we'll just see how they're looking. There we go. So we've got 5. You can have a total of 8. So if it's a really competitive niche, you may want to put some more in there. So you can see it's brought in the title, the bullet points. It will bring in the description if there's one. Doesn't look like any of these have a description, so they must have A+ content. The only thing it doesn't pull in is the back-end search terms. So you can notice the optimization scores at 0 here. If you open that up, it's made up of search volume, combined revenue, and then a few of these points as well. The reason this is 0 is because it's based on the keywords that you input into the tool. So we've all heard the term, you get out what you put in, and that's super important here. If I was to import a bunch of keywords, you know, about computer keyboards, this optimization score would mean nothing. It's got to be relevant, and that's why the first keyword research step is so important. Once you've done that though, you just import from Keywords on Fire. Once this one loads, this is that session we had. So yoga mat, 300 keywords. Because we did the keyword research, I'm going to bring in all keywords and then bring those in there. So they come up on the left-hand side. So we've got keywords and then our listings. And what you'll notice is that optimization score has now populated. So this one is by far the strongest, 19,000 listing score. For example, for comparison, the listing that we're pretending to be is only 9,000. So we're a long way off where that top competitor is. So that's the goal here, to beat this score. Right. You can see these ones, medium, you know, lower medium, and then of course, no keywords in here, so nothing. The goal though is keep an eye on this score as you're changing things. So just as a dramatic example, if I was to remove the title, obviously a super important part of Amazon SEO, we drop down to 2,000. So it's dropped down significantly. I add that one back in, it'll go back up to exactly where it was because I didn't change anything. But the idea there is you can take 1 or 2 words out, see the impact on the score, move them to the bullets. Does that change anything? You can really tweak to your heart's content. But what we'll do is I'm starting from scratch with this listing. So this is where the AI generation is going to come into things. So, it takes 10 seconds to import these, another 5 seconds to import the keywords.
Yeah.
The AI generation takes about a minute to load. All you need to do though, pop your own brand name in. So we'll go with Nike for now. Product description, let's just go with extra wide yoga mat, and maybe Adidas and Puma we don't want to use because they're competitors, right? The cool thing here, you can also choose the tone. I'm going to go with friendly for now. And then we click generate. So this does take a minute or so to generate using their AI. But essentially what it's doing is those keywords, you can see 300 that we imported. We've said, these are the keywords we want you to use. ZonGuru, meaning we, have taught the AI, this is how Amazon listings convert. So it takes those keywords, it puts them in the most important places, and then it writes it from start to finish.
Amazing.
Cool. So we've got 23,000. So the good news there is our top competitor was at 19. Based purely on the keyword performance, we're way above them already.
Yeah.
So it's not about getting to 50 or 100,000. There's no end goal with the numbers. What it is if our competitors are at 20, we want to be at 21. If they're at 50, we want to be at 51. You always got to be beating those competitors, right?
Yeah.
So we've smashed our current listing, and you can see we've got the title here. We've then got the bullet points. So it's talked about extra wide, non-slip surface, thick cushioning, portable and easy to store, high quality material. Even without knowing the product, we know they're pretty strong bullet points. We've also got the description here, and we can add the search terms in later. The cool thing though is, let's just say we don't really like the non-slip bullet point. We want to change that one. You don't have to create it from scratch again. You can use this power prompt button, the magic wand that's on each section, and then you can just do that section. So for example, maybe I want to use more bullet points. So let's go write this bullet point with an emoji at the beginning and use more than 400 characters. Hit generate, the AI will have a think, it'll figure out how to do that one. Now I've purposely left that a little bit open. So I've said use more than 400 characters. Obviously that means it may use 800, it may use 1,000. There we go. So it used 582.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say that with the AI, does it know a limit for the amount of characters you can use for each of those sections there?
No, we haven't put a limit on it purely because different categories have slightly different limits. Some might be 500, some might be 400. So it is important. The maximum it will be is 500, which is why we have the limits here. But it's important to check your particular category or niche to see what yours are. That way you can then type that, into that power prompt. So in this section, you can say use between 220 and 230. I do find it's better to give it, leeway of 5 to 10 characters, because otherwise it's, it may struggle to put the keywords in there to an exact character count.
Yeah. And you can always manually edit later as well, can't you?
Exactly. So we've got too many here. So I might just take out, just to here, for example, back to 277. And then again, you can see that score changed as well.
Amazing. It's just going up all the time.
It is. It's really cool. And the other thing that I like to tell people is don't forget about the search terms. I think people get a bit lazy and they don't think these are important, but you do get a lot of ranking for them. For example, we're at 24,000. If I was to add, just going to add all of them in here. So by clicking that button, it dedupes any keywords that we've already used. And then I'll take it back so that we're below the character count. Few more there. There we go. And then there you go. We've hit nearly 30,000. So it's an extra 7,000 just from that bullet search term.
Amazing. I'm going to have to redo my listings now. Using the AI tool. But I have a question, Adam. With the AI generated content, is it really unique to your listing, or is it, have you found that sometimes the AI content generated is similar to competitors' content, or is it very unique to your listing? We've
found it to be super unique. It also will also depend on the category you're in. So for example, yoga mats, because it's so competitive and so highly optimized, you might notice that the listing the AI generates is kind of similar to those competitors. Mm-hmm. And that's purely because obviously those competitors have figured out what works best. So if they've figured out what works best, the AI has come to a similar conclusion. That's why it's important to make sure you go through and just check what it says. There is a publish on Amazon, so you can publish directly there. But before you do that, throw a human eye over it. There's still lots of, probably 5% of the listing, a human eye is going to do better than the AI, because we know our product, we know our customers, we know what sells, we know how to market to them.
Yeah.
That way we can just tweak those things. But for the most part, it's pretty individual.
Yeah, great. Is there any kind of little like niggly, twitchy, glitchy things that you want to share, or that you've noticed, or is it so far just been completely seamless?
In terms of getting people to sign up, I'd say it's completely seamless. But of course, there's always things that we can improve on. And I think the biggest thing is, my job is to teach ZonGuru users how to make the most of it. So for example, if you were just to generate the AI listing, publish it on Amazon, you'll get okay results, but you're not going to get the best results. So make sure you throw the human eye over it. For example, it's only put 108 characters out of the 200 character limit in the title. So you definitely want to be, maximizing that title count, because it is so important.
Yeah.
The other thing is things like tone.
Oh, sorry, Adam. Sorry.
I'm
just saying it's a fine line too, isn't it? Sometimes between getting the copy across in a way that's really easy for the person to read, for the potential customer to read, or just keyword stuffing to get that count up, and it then not sort of reading very well, or being easy to read. So is that something that you've found the AI has got a nice balance between?
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably the biggest, if not the biggest, benefit that I've found with the AI, because the AI, I'm not good with words. I'm not good with creating things from scratch. So what the AI does is it gives me this awesome base. It gives me a sentence or a paragraph. When I power prompted it, it even gave me emoji at the start. Yeah. So then when I look at something, because I've been in Amazon for a while, I know what's good, but often I find it's hard to start from scratch and get there. So I can look at it and go, I like this, but I think it can be better. And then you can just tell the AI, hey, I want you to focus more on the non-slip side of things, or the extra wide side of things. And it'll then tweak that and give you another example. And you can use, if you're using 10 words in a PPC campaign, instead of using all of these keywords for a section, you might just focus on those ones that are in your PPC campaign. Yeah. So that when you select this one, it only uses those 4 keywords. So then, your PPC campaign is, if that's converting, you'll also get really solid organic ranking, and your PPC and your listing will work hand in hand.
Wow, this is amazing. It's mind-blowing, because also I'm just thinking like how you can actually, if you are running a specific PPC campaign, you can tweak the listing to suit that PPC campaign, and then maybe you stop running it, or you're doing some other targeted campaign, you can change it again.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I like to use this draft listing. So you can see this is the draft one, whereas this is the listing we initially have. So then as you're tweaking it, you can download this into a CSV file and, maybe name it 13th of July. And then, when you update it, name it 21st of July, and keep those in a folder somewhere, so that you can then go back and see, when I changed from this to this was the impact that it had on my conversions or my rankings or these sorts of things. So, there's not much point changing it and going up or down if you don't know why it happened.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really good to get that data, and just it just feels like it's so much easier to refine and tweak and keep improving or adjusting depending on your strategy. Exactly. Amazing.
And I think the last tip I want to give is tweak little things at a time. When you launch your product, obviously you have to do the whole listing, but if you are trying to improve, just change a couple of keywords here and there.
Yeah.
Publish it, see how that affects it, and then change something else. Because if you change the whole listing all at once, you've got no idea what's made it better or worse.
That's true. So would your suggestion be, say, for someone like me or anyone else listening that's already got a listing, it's doing pretty well, and they want to play with this AI tool, what would your suggestion be then? Just to, I mean, for me, it's like I'm looking at that optimization score, and I know mine could definitely be better if I use the AI tool.
Yeah.
That may potentially mean the whole new listing, but are you saying that you potentially should just do a few little changes first from the AI content it's generated and add it in slowly?
It's a great question. And again, it depends, I suppose, how long your listing's been around, how established it is. Because, if you're super established on 3 or 4 keywords that you're rank 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, you're really high up. If the AI generates a listing and those keywords are way down the bottom, it may impact, those keywords. You may drop those rankings, and then you'll see a drop in sales because the other keywords haven't had a chance to catch up. So if that's the case, if you're ranking really well in something and you're established, make sure those keywords are still in there. So get the AI to generate it. And then if the AI hasn't used those specific ones, pop those in as well. Make sure they're front and center ready to go.
Yeah.
And then that way, as the other keywords that the AI are focusing on starts coming up, it's not completely dropping off the ones you've already got. So you shouldn't have a lull. You should, plateau and then continue moving up the rankings.
Okay, great. Great advice, Adam. Thank you. Yeah, that makes total sense to do it that way. But also for anyone who's new to creating listings, this is the place to start, isn't it? Like using the AI generated.
Absolutely. And I mean, creating listings has just become so much easier than it used to be. It used to be a 2 or 3 day thing, finding the keywords and actually writing the copy, figuring out what's going to work. So you've got a great base to start from.
Totally. And it was a brain ache for me because it was like, that listing optimization score, if I could just get that up to, another 1,000 and sometimes I just, my brain would just go like, I just have no idea where I can find another keyword to put or, anything in there to bring it up. So the AI tool is going to take all that kind of headache away.
Yeah, absolutely. I find sometimes I get stuck. I say I can do all this in 10 minutes, but then I get so far down the rabbit hole of finding more keywords. There's just so many things you can look at. I spend hours doing this anyway. Yeah. But the idea is if your optimization score is higher than your competitors, you're ready to go.
Yeah. Awesome. I think our time is nearly up. I'm not used to just doing half-hour webinars, but it was short and sweet and very, very impactful. I know that, Adam, you've got a couple of offers for us, for our listeners, some really special offers, which I can also share more detail in our posts and description on the socials. But far away, what have you got to share with us?
Cool. So at the moment, because the AI is so hot and people want access to this one, we actually have a special listing optimization offer. So usually with ZonGuru, it's either a researcher or a seller plan. We do at the moment, through this Spotlight series, we're offering 20% off for the lifetime of a ZonGuru subscription. So this is for all new customers, available for any plan, whether that's monthly or annual, and there is a 7-day free trial. So, go nuts, use the tools as much as you want in that time to make sure they're actually giving you value and they're better than what you're already using. We'll pop the link in there for that one. But the listing optimization one is if you're focused more on just the keywords and listing optimization tool, we can give you access to both of those ones without all the other ones. Again, only for new customers. There's a 7-day money back guarantee, and that's for an annual plan for $299.
That is awesome, Adam. I mean, I can rattle off the link, but I will post it. But the link will be zonguru.link/Proboxx-LO for the listing optimization offer. And then we've got the 20% off lifetime offer, which will be zonguru.link/Proboxx-20 off. So if you guys want to go jump on those links and get started and create the most incredibly highest ranking listings possible with the ZonGuru AI tool, that would be the best place to start with those discounts and offers. Thank you so much for your time, Adam. I have really enjoyed it and I've gotten so much out of it, so I'm sure other people will too. And we look forward to chatting again soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Amanda. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Adam. Cheers for now. Bye.